Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening from wherever you're watching or listening. My name is Caleb Glick. I'm a lawyer here in the great state of Texas with the Calhoun School of Law to bring you a lot of information plenty of bad folks would rather you not have. Today we're going to be providing another installation into our Anti-Federalist Papers series going on number 15. So if you haven't gone back and watched 1 through 14, I would highly encourage you to do so because understanding these, in addition to the Federalist Papers, are going to provide you a very well-rounded, supplementary understanding of the U.S. Constitution. And of course, understanding the U.S. Constitution is absolutely necessary if you intend to combat any sort of lawfare waged on you, your loved ones, or your hard-earned property. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump on over to the Anti-Federalist Papers. There are multiple institutions from which you can get a paper and digital copy of the Anti-Federalist Papers. Go ahead and get both. While you're out there looking, if you haven't already, go ahead and pick up a paper and digital copy of the Federalist Papers so that way you can join us in comparing and contrasting the arguments for and against ratifying the U.S. Constitution. And y'all are going to love today's lecture because it's barely a page long, so it's going to be very short, maybe 5 minutes. In fact, we're going to cut off all of this monologuing that I'm doing so we can get directly to it and spare you your time, keep you your very well-respected time. Okay, so number 15, the Anti-Federalist Papers. Rhode Island is right. I wonder what they're going to be talking about in this one. So, this essay in the Massachusetts Gazette-Tier, published in the Massachusetts Gazette, published in the Massachusetts Gazette on December 7th, 1787, as reprinted from the Freeman's Journal, or the North American Intelligencer. This gentleman says this: "The abuse which has been thrown upon the state of Rhode Island seems to be greatly unmerited. Popular favor is variable, and those who are now despised and insulted may soon change situations with the present idols of the people. Rhode Island has outdone even Pennsylvania in the glorious work of freeing the Negroes in this country, without which the patriotism of some states appears ridiculous. The General Assembly of the state of Rhode Island has prevented the further importation of Negroes, and have made a law by which all blacks born in that state after March 1784 are absolutely and at once free." But wait, Caleb, I thought the Civil War answered that question. Please read the 13th Amendment. "They have fully complied with the recommendations of Congress in regard to the late treaty of peace with Great Britain, and have passed an act declaring it to be the law of the land. They have never refused their quota of taxes demanded by Congress, excepting the 5% impost, which they considered as a dangerous tax, and for which at present there is perhaps no great necessity, as the Western Territory, of which a part has very lately been sold at a considerable price, may soon produce an immense revenue, and in the interim Congress may raise in the old manner the taxes which shall be found necessary for the support of the government. The state of Rhode Island refused to send delegates to the Federal Convention, and the event has manifested that their refusal was a happy one, as the new Constitution which the Convention has proposed to us is an elective monarchy." Whoa, that is quite the critique to be throwing around in 1780. So go ahead and highlight that, the late 1780s. The wounds from the American Revolution are still very fresh at this time. So calling this new government, which is supposed to be a representative republic, or a constitutional republic, a confederation, rather, of constitutional republics, calling that an elective monarchy is rubbing salt in that wound. Which the convention has proposed to us is an elective monarchy, which is proverbially the worst government. This new government would have been supported at a vast expense by which our taxes, the right of which is solely vested in Congress, a circumstance which manifests that the various states of the Union will be merely corporations, would be doubled or trebled. The liberty of the press is not stipulated for, and therefore may be invaded at pleasure, which is why the Anti-Federalists like Thomas Jefferson refused to even consider the U.S. Constitution, lest the Bill of Rights be included. They weren't amendments. It even says in the preamble to the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights were not amendments. They were prerequisites. They may be labeled amendments, but the founders, the founding generation in the 1780s, understood the Bill of Rights to be prerequisites, not changes, necessities for the U.S. Constitution to be even considered for ratification. So let's reread that. The liberty of the press is not stipulated for, and therefore may be invaded at pleasure. The Supreme Continental Court, and get this, even though it's stipulated for, John Adams, second president over the Union, implemented unconstitutionally, illegally, illegitimate, the Alien and Sedition Acts, which resulted in the suppression, often burnings, of presses in press rooms that published papers, that published writings, which dissented or insulted the federal government. So this criticism is very well founded and well rooted in history. Okay, the Supreme Continental Court is to have, almost in every case, quote, appellate jurisdiction both as to law and fact, which signifies if there is any meaning in words, the setting aside the trial by jury. Congress will have the power of guaranteeing to every state a right to import Negroes for 21 years, by which some of the states who have now declined that iniquitous, another great word, you can always trust that you'll find some awesome vocabulary in these writings, especially from the Federalists, because even though they were disagreeable, Hamilton, Jay, and Madison, they were very verbose and had very, very lengthy vocabularies. So if there's anything to get out of these, it would be expanding your dictionary. Negroes for 21 years, by which some of the states who have now declined that iniquitous traffic may re-enter into it for the private laws of every state, or to submit to the superior jurisdiction of Congress. A standing army is to be kept on foot by which the vicious, the sycophantic, another great word, and the time-serving, you hear it pretty often today, but still a great word, at the time serving will be exalted, and the brave, the patriotic, and the virtuous will be depressed. The writer, therefore, thinks it the part of wisdom to abide, like the state of Rhode Island, by the old Articles of Confederation, which, if re-examined with attention, we shall find worthy of great regard. That we should give high praise to the manly and public-spirited 16 members who lately seceded from our House of Assembly in Pennsylvania, and that we should all impress with great care this truth on our minds, that it is very easy to change a free government into an arbitrary one, but that it is very difficult to convert tyranny into freedom. Go ahead and highlight that last sentence. Very well, very concisely put. Excellent. Told y'all would really enjoy this one. Super short. If you do have any questions about what was said in number 15 or the preceding papers, or maybe a topic you'd like me to cover in a future lecture, go ahead and post those down in the comments, because the entire purpose of the Calhoun School of Law is to provide you with the necessary skills and information to combat any lawfare waged against you, your loved ones, or your hard-earned property. So please, if you have any questions at all, post them down in the comments. Excellent. So my name is Caleb Glick. I'm a lawyer here in the great state of Texas with the Calhoun School of Law to bring you a lot of information that plenty of bad folks would rather you not have. I hope you enjoyed this lecture, and if not, while you're down in the comments, let me know how I can do better so I can best serve that purpose of helping you. I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I'm not sure what the topic for next lecture is going to be, but I'll do my best to make it as informative and entertaining as this one, if not more so. Regardless of the topic of the next lecture, until I see y'all then, I bid you all farewell.